This is Karikter Asked It. You already know Karikter did it. I'm here with Blaze Hunter. Tell us about yourself, bro.
What's going on, squad? Welcome. Y'all know it's Blaze Hunter, the owner of Knife Wonder Music and Entertainment, and pretty much production and entertainment company that caters to all independent content creators. And we use three ways: Blaze It Up Radio, a radio station, Signature Series Network, TV network, and then Ninth Wonder Magazine, which is the magazine. So those three platforms is what we use to blow up the independent content. And yeah,
how long you been doing that?
So as far as the media, like doing the Ninth Wonder Music, it's been like 4 years. I've been in the business way longer, but doing it to where it's not about me and it's about more, the content creator, about a good 4 years.
Okay, where are you from?
West Palm Beach, Florida.
That's where you are now?
Yeah, no, I'm in Georgia now. So I relocated to Georgia. For the audience that knows me, I have lupus and myositis. So when I first was diagnosed and we knew what it was, to get the treatments, I had to come to Georgia. So it worked out because we were already my mom that found this huge house out here in Georgia, and this was going to be whenever I traveled to Georgia, the place where I do studio and things of that nature. It ended up turning out that I had to live here. So perfect.
Oh, it's perfect. You had it, man.
Good one.
How old were you when you left West Palm Beach?
So I'm 38 now. Jesus. So 34 going on 35.
Okay. Tell me about your childhood. You're coming up.
So childhood, what's crazy is normally in different groups that I'm in and I hear other people's childhoods, a lot of them deal with, I didn't have, a big family. None of that was for me. I had the most ginormous family in the world. I had one of those communities where, they say it take a village. So if I got in trouble, not only was my mom beating me, the grandmas beat me, aunt was beating me, maybe one of the neighbors that we knew really good. So we had, that type of thing. So as far as when it came to supporting the talent as I was growing up, that all came natural. When I was younger, I used to write stories and like in like third grade, second grade, like my stuff would be in like paintings were being put in like the city hall, and I was winning like, writing, like when I would write like fictional stories, story of the week in school. So I was getting a lot of that in church, on the, the choir, the youth choir. So I got a lot of support coming up, being younger. So as far as being able to express my talents, those things all came natural. I'm the oldest of five, of my immediate family. So me being the first child, and the oldest, it like my mom, she had me young. So, raising me, like I learned a lot so quick because, with her being young, they're like, oh, you're too young to have a kid. She wanted to prove everybody wrong. So she was extra intentional with raising me. And it got to the point to where I just
extra intentional. I like that.
Oh yeah, exactly. So it just made me, I was just on point already. And I just took advantage of being smarter, knowing different things, knowing how to manipulate things, and the childhood, it was great. So I believe a lot of the foundation that I have today with doing things all stemmed from having that huge family, having those talents. And I didn't know that these talents would be like a big core of me now. It was just fun for me back then, but there was a lot of practice with all of that stuff back then. So there was no need to have to go to school to learn certain things because I had such a young foundation of honing in writing, honing in drawing, honing in being in front of a crowd. So it all just came natural.
What'd you do after high school?
So right after high school, so this was crazy. So I was going to I got accepted to the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale. So I was going to go for video production. I was all excited about it. In the midst of that, I formed this group called Trilogy. It was a reggae artist, a singer, and me. So at that time in music, it wasn't big for a lot of these collaborations that you see today. So that sound was just new. So we started doing a couple of different talent shows and stuff, and everybody was loving us. So we ended up getting picked up to do Beyonce's world tour, to open up for her world tour. So, I mean, it was all happening fast. We got booked to open up for Nelly at the Sunfest. The month after that, we opened up for Trick Daddy, Fat Joe, Trina, a lot of these artists at Bayside. It was crazy at a quick time. We had a clothing line that was, doing the clothes for us. We had dancers that were dancing for us. So it was like, I was ready to go. Told the school, yeah, he's coming back. I'll deal with y'all later. I was working at Chuck E. Cheese at the time. Cuss the boss out.
I bet that felt so good. I bet that felt so good.
She was such a douche. So a week before going on the tour, Destiny Child was sued for the song Survivor. So now this is what's crazy. Now, I was told you I was going on Beyonce's world tour, which means she was already broken up from the group. Years has gone by, and they're just being sued for Destiny Child. So what the producer did was, somebody on the team didn't pay the producer. So instead of him suing right away, he waited for the song to get super big, collect all its money. Then he struck. Oh, yeah, genius. So I just didn't appreciate I had to pay for it. I had to be on the receiving end of this genius. So cancel her tour.
Oh,
it was horrible.
No.
Dropped out of school for nothing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the clothing designer was like, "Oh well, so y'all not going on the tour." Backed out. It was a horrible break. But in hindsight, I'm glad that it happened, because I know with the experience, the corruption of the industry. So going in that young, oh my God, I would have been a pimp. I had kids all over the place. Yeah, it wouldn't have worked.
I feel that though. I feel that. I would be terrified to see what success in my 20s would have looked like. I'm 35 now. I'm ready for it now. But I would have fucked it up.
I'm telling you, bro, it would have been a hot mess.
That's wild. That's wild. When you were opening up for other people, how long was that period of time?
That was so when I started getting into music at 16. So I was so at that point I went to this nonprofit organization that was in the area. It was called FICE, the Florida Institute of Cultural Entertainment and Arts. FICE. This dude had a warehouse with a couple studios in it, a couple production rooms in it, and he was teaching kids. So his whole purpose was, instead of you guys going out in the streets and doing this, let me give you something to do after school. Awesome. So I learned how to make beats, learned how to run a recording studio, all the basics, but all of that stuff worked. So after high school, right after graduating high school, it was like I was fortunate to, like I said, I joined that group that I was with, and they were older than me, obviously. I was 18 at the time. One was 25, the other one was like 22. So they were paying for all the studio time. So every studio that we went to record, I'm looking at all the things the engineer's doing, and I'm learning, and I'm just looking at everything in like a sponge. So early on, immediately, because nobody had seen that sound or heard that type of sound before. Now, realistically, I'm humble enough to admit that individually, we all weren't that good individually. Like, I listened to the raps, a lot of those songs, and I'm like, I can't believe I said that. And I know the other dude hears some of his singing and was like, oh, but together, the combination of the sound and seeing us live was a totally different experience. So we just, early on, we just got all these opportunities so much quicker. Like, we were traveling in different states. They were booking us for college shows, and it got to the point to where we were banned to do talent shows because we were winning by landslides everywhere. So we were only able, great problems to have. So we were only able to, be special guests and things of that nature. So that stuff was good. The problem was with this music industry, they'll take advantage of people who don't know. Since we were doing things so young, we didn't know too much. So we got into so many situations where we missed out on so much money because we were just so excited to just be there. So they took full advantage of it. But that first year, we did a lot. Opened up for Usher. Opened up for we did all different type of music festivals. Like, it was crazy.
Why did the Beyonce tour getting canceled? Why did that put a halt to everything?
So because it was such a big thing, like, yeah, like everyone, because there was nothing at that level when we were starting. Like when we did the opening up for Usher thing, like it was a small festival that he came to. So the majority, it was like one of those situations where it wasn't like his big tour. It wasn't a lot of national attention on it. It was just another paid gig that he was doing. So there were a lot of different artists on the bill, and they brought us in as guest performers because we couldn't, obviously weren't going to be able to do the talent competition.
The Beyonce thing was going to put y'all on the map.
Oh yeah, it was going to put us on the map because we were going to be her opening act for her entire tour.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that was just over the top huge. But amazing. Yeah, that first year it was just a bunch of performances, a bunch of shows, but that's what it was. We were, and the blessing in disguise in that where we were in a lot of the rooms with a lot of big names, to where now it's a benefit to have had those connections because I can utilize a lot of them now. But at the time, a lot of them were just taking advantage because we didn't know no better. So what they knew, someone with sense could have got maybe 50,000 out of them. They were like, "Oh yeah, it was here $1,000," so we're like, "Whoo, 1,000!"
and we get to perform.
And we get to perform. So yeah, it was a lot of taking advantage, but yeah, it was a big learning curve though.
That's how it goes. What'd you do after that?
So after that first year, because one of the things that I also was good at before, performing or whatever, I always was good at writing. Like I said early on, I was writing. So I started. So with having those connections, performing all over the place, a couple labels started being interested in, that portion of the talent. So Johnny Wright, which was the owner of Wire Records at the time, he was also on Bad Boy's team. But Johnny Wright owned Wire Records, which was a smaller label for Disney. And they had a group called Triple Image. And they were like, all right, these girls are amazing and we want you to write for them. And how they caught wind of us, this girl I was dating at the time, she was obsessed with this local boy band that was in the area, freaking boy band. And it just blew my mind with how they poke pictures all over the walls. And
yeah, bro.
So I went to a concert that she went to of theirs, and when I was there at the concert, I also got to meet them, got their information or whatever. So I was like, I'm listening to the songs, and if any of you guys are watching this right now, just let's be real, the songs are horrible. They're horrible, and I just couldn't. And it just blew my mind with how these girls were yelling and screaming and going crazy, fainting. Like I was just like, I have to write for these boys. So I did a remix of one of the songs. They were called Voices. It was VOYCES was the name of their group at the time, Voices. So I wrote a song and sent it to them. They loved it, brought me to the studio, and then I started writing songs for them. Cool. Songs night and day better. Night and day better. It was amazing. So through that, the leader of the group was also their he was also their producer at the time. Him and we got picked up to do the project for Wire Records. So we wrote for this group called Triple Image. And these girls, like before working with us, they were a set of twins and a younger sister. So at the time they were 13, and 12. So they had done some stuff in Japan, overseas, and things like that. But it was all like remakes of different songs, and they were all like
really
kitty.
Young.
Yeah. But they were dumb talented. So we brought them. They wanted us to kind of give them more of they wanted us to, they heard the stuff that we did for the boy band. So none of the stuff was like over sexualized. It was like NSYNC Backstreet Boys type.
Yeah, sure.
Type music. So they wanted us to do that for the girls. So we came up with a couple songs for them. People were loving it. The problem that ended up happening was Disney was like, okay, we love the sound. Why don't we pick them up? But everybody's like, no, because everybody that comes out of Disney is tarnished, and I'm an idiot. I was on board with that too. Like, no, we're not doing it. And now in hindsight, I'm like, oh my God, the money that we would have made if we wouldn't have turned down Disney. Because what ended up happening, the girls end up obviously getting older, boyfriends, this, that, and the other. It ended up not going where it should have gone.
You save those girls though. That's a whole different kind of life, being a Disney kid.
Yeah, it is. So in that sense, I don't lose sleep. Now my wallet, it cusses me out all because when you think about like people were downloading music, and like, you know, there was a program called LimeWire out back then, download music or whatever. Wasn't nobody downloading Disney songs. You know, I remember Hannah Montana doing this concert. She did a concert in the same town as Rihanna and Justin Timberlake. Not only did she sell out before them, her tickets were $2,000 more expensive, and they sold out. And I'm like, how is this possible? But then I thought about it. The parents obviously buy the tickets. Each parent is going to bring 2 kids with them. They're definitely going to get merch. And I'm like, oh my God, I missed out on so much money.
Damn, bro. Damn.
But we know the corruption of freaking Disney.
Exactly.
So in hindsight, we definitely saved them from some craziness. But that's what I was doing. I was getting involved in a lot of different projects, and after that, I got the privilege to work with, you know, Diddy's, the people from the making of the band, the first group that he did, the one that he made to get Cheesecake. So because my engineering skills were so good, like being able to do the studio portion, like I never went to like a college for it, so I didn't have a certificate for engineering,
right?
But skill
is in the pudding.
Exactly. I was better than a lot of the people that they had in staff of these big studios. So what they were doing was, all right, we'll make you sign an NDA, and we'll do this, that, and the other, and we'll pay you whatever amount, and you come and record. Now, again, being young, like I could have charged so much more than what I made, but I didn't know better. I was still young and still new in the business, no management, you know, to fall back on. So, but the experience was there. So I got the chance to just start working with a lot of different people. So during that whole stretch from like 2003 to 2005 was just, I got to meet and write for Chris Brown, got to write for Flo Rida, got to write for Day 26 was the third group that the making of the band used. So it was a lot of experience get on writing projects. Now, a lot of people's stuff didn't get picked up, or there were some songs that got stolen, and that's a whole nother story. But it was still, I was just focused on the experience of all of those. You know, it was a great experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. How about, I mean, we're still in the early 2000s right now. You had a hell of a career, man.
Yes. So I realized around 2005, like I did all of this stuff, but and in that time, one of the most profound relationships that I made was with Aaron Carter, which, rest in peace, Aaron Carter, sucks. They passed away. But during working with the Triple Image girls, they were also doing a bunch of performances that I got to go tag along with. Now, every time I write for someone that's good, I always make at least one song where I feature rapping on it, because, you know, I need that. So that's my way in. So I got to do a lot of shows with them, which came with being able to do a couple shows with Aaron Carter. So one of the best things that he ever told me at the time was like, man, you're good at rapping, and man, you got so many talents. Like, you're gonna be big. And I'm like, yeah, but you know, there are people always telling me not to, like, if I'm gonna rap, then rap. If I'm gonna write and produce, and then just do this. And he was like, don't ever put all your eggs in one basket. Like, take every single thing and run with it. So that stuck with me. So around 2005, I really wanted to do more focusing on the music portion. So I started a group. You know, I was born May 6th, so I created a group called Six Entertainment. So SYXX Entertainment. So I got like a couple artists that I've known along the way. I did all their engineering and their music, and we just started going on a performing tear. We just went to performing at all different type of nightclubs and festivals, and we were making such a big name and making some noise, to where it also started utilizing these connections. So then it got us on different things. So I was able to get on the Dub tour with Ludacris. So we toured in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. So great tour, great performances. We at the time, the main performer was this guy Josh Moreland, which I definitely need to get him and to get an interview with you. So that's going to be an amazing interview. So he was more the main attraction to these things. Like, one thing with me is I always go into this without having the huge ego. Everybody expects me to have the best. Like, Blaze, you're you, so you need to always. I know if someone has the heat, I have no issue falling back to be number 2, get in where I fit in, because we all win.
That's what it's about.
So with Josh, with Jay, at the time he was calling himself Jay Smooth. Now he also was the guy that was the singer in that group that I used to be in.
Okay.
So when I noticed that he just had all this heat and attention, I was like, oh, perfect. Not only are we going to write you some songs, I'm also going to make sure I feature myself on these songs, and we're going to get on these tours. So we got on the Ludacris tour. So we did that. That brought some more attention. We ended up getting the attention of this guy who, long story short, put us, fast forward a few years later, we're on the Nope is Dope tour in Europe. This is opening up for the Mario that you should let me love you, bro. So we're freaking in Europe, bro. Like,
damn,
Europe. Like, oh my god, like it's the love from the audience. It's like you perform over there, you'll never want to come back to the States. Like, they treated us like, because before we went up there, they had on MTV Europe, they did a commercial, so they had all of like a preview of us going to perform. So the audience kind of already used to us. Walking into the building, girls going crazy, throwing underwear. I'm like, oh yes. I'm single at the time. I'm like, oh yes. Like, they were treating us like we were superstars already. We get on. We had a professional sound check, which felt really good to have a sound check. And what they did, they would take warehouses and build them into these freaking huge stages with the LED lights and pack it with thousands of people. So we get out there to perform. Everybody's screaming from the moment we're there. Every single thing we do is if they know the songs, which they don't, but they just made everything a big deal. So it's easy to just feel like a freaking star. And like, Europe was great. The only issue with Europe was the guy who was managing Josh at the time. Like, he wasn't my manager, but I made sure that I was going to get brought along because I was his main writer, engineer. I put myself on his main single, so I'm like, you got no choice but to include me, which he did. But this dude is like, it's crazy because it's like certain people I've learned that are put in your path to make sure you don't get to a certain area. Like he purposely didn't. He made sure, like, we were like, okay, we wanted to bring our merch, bring this, bring this. They said, no, we're gonna have it all covered over there. We didn't bring anything because we trusted in his word. So we get there, the show is over, long line of people that want to sign for CDs and merchandise. We have nothing. So much money lost. So he was like, oh, they gave us a bunch. So here's 200 euros for you, 200 for you, and it was like, it was horrible, a horrible situation. So so all I'm doing over this course of all these years are just learning how people just screw you over in the industry no matter what. It was just like, I was getting to a point to where I was like, I don't even know if I could trust anything of this industry because it's just been screw over after screw over after screw over. And then I had to do some personal soul searching for myself, because once I got back to the States, I was on a high horse. Like, Blaze can perform at this place, and I just felt too
yeah.
I'm bigger than this, But I humbled myself real quick. I remember going to this event where this DJ Epps was performing, and while he was on the mic, he was like, and you never know who's in the building, and he was talking about appreciating your surroundings and stuff, and I was like, dang, that's me all day. I need to calm down. I'm not there yet. And get right. So it put me in better spirits, and so where we're at, this is 2010 now. So yeah, so
it's a journey. Journey.
Huge journey. So 2012 starts to approach. I link up with this guy. He opened up this label. I'm not saying his name, because he don't deserve to get his name said, but at the time it was cool. So he was like, all right, I have this money and this connection. I want to start a label. You clearly have the artists and the talent. This is what we'll do. We'll get together. We'll build our own studio and headquarters. I'll make you the main artist, and the other artists will be other artists on the label. And every time someone finishes a project, we put the money behind it, we put it out. Great plan. I got the crew together. It was great. So the label was called E-Racism Records, and pretty much E-Racism was saying,
cool,
now,
bro. That's
pretty much meant not racist to any form of entertainment. We're just bringing everything in. So yeah, it was dope. Like, you walk into the building, there's a huge a big old poster of me in the front as soon as you walk in. We had a second. We built it all from scratch, so it felt good to, like, literally we took 2 months of me, the other artist, the owner, like, hammering, nailing, like we drunk of a place into an immaculate studio. So now we're at this place that we're regaining some more traction. The radio stations are coming to meet us to, like, and one day we had like 4 radio stations, of the biggest radio stations in Florida, come to talk about, how we're going to get the singles on the radio, the shows. Damn. So I'm extra excited, because at the time it was like, all right, you can't just pay to get on the radio. Obviously that's illegal. So they came to work out some, different type of deals with us. So we're like, oh, definitely. So the issue that always happens is there's always that one person who gets in the way of something. So we had a person, which I won't say his name. He felt like, oh, this is not, number one, he felt like he had that issue to where, like I told you, certain people don't want to, if they see somebody else hot, they can't handle being number 2. He wanted to be number 1. Yeah. And and the thing is, we weren't verbally telling the other artists the deals that we're making with the radio station. All y'all got one job: make music, be good at it.
Everything else, don't worry about it.
Yeah. So he just didn't understand why. Look, I know I'm this good. Why can't I perform at this? Why can't I do this, that? We're like, bro, please be patient, calm down. He didn't. He ended up going to so he ended up finding out a few things that's what's being paid for. So he had a connection with the radio station. Called the radio station themselves. I don't understand why this, that, and the other. Long story short, the higher ups learned of the deal that they made. So now that radio station that was so big in our city, to this day, is no longer that radio station. Like, a week after that radio station became a station that plays like R&B and oldies. Whoa. Shut down. Yeah, shut it down completely.
You killed a radio station.
Destroyed the radio station. So many DJs were fired, this and that. And I'm like, bro, how did you single-handedly just destroy everything that we just put all this work for? So this caused the owner of the label to just start losing his mind. So I understand a lot of reasons why he was losing his mind. But the one thing is, when things get hard, people's true colors and their true intentions end up showing. So we got to a place to where he lost a lot of money in different investments and all of these things. Like, he had put a bunch of money into them, but obviously they weren't giving it back to him, because what they were doing technically wasn't a legal way to doing it. So that was $40,000, like, done. Nothing you could do with it. So we got to the place to where these labels started to call about some of the artists. So he was like, all right, what I'll do is I'll sell off some of the artists we have to these labels. So we got the attention of Interscope, which was dope. So we went to LA.
Oh shit.
I got the Rapping Snoop Dogg studio, which was dope. So we teamed up with Dr. Dre's son, got to do a couple projects with him. Things were going sweet. The single that me and him were going to do was supposed to go for the NBA playoffs, not playoffs, but the All-Star game that year. Things were lined up. It was beautiful. So the problem was, the owner of this label, he was lying about money that he said that he had that he didn't have in place. So off the trust of his word, they end up mastering my whole album already. They got me collabs with T.I., got me collabs with Eminem, got me a collab with Neo, got me a collab with Warren G. Big collabs for my first official album. Got me a reality TV series deal with this company, with this TV show that was going to be called The Firm. I had a freaking, there's this company that bedazzles, anything. That's what they're known for. So we had this headphone company that they also bedazzled the headphone. Like, they didn't look like no freaking baby girls. It looked like some iced out studded.
I got you. Yeah.
But and so on the show, they had it set up to where there was going to be the reveal that you're the new face of this company. So everything looked like it was going smooth. So the owner of the label just started ducking and dodging everybody, and we just couldn't figure out why. The reason is because he didn't have the money, but he was doing everything he could to try to find a way to come up with it. Because this is the thing, the reason that he had to go search for all that money, because Interscope, the deal that they were offering was an 80-20 deal. They get 80% of everything. I keep 20. Hell no. Not happening. So it was like, all right, if you don't do the 80-20 deal, then it's going to be 20-80, which means you have to pay for the majority of everything. So we were like, that's what we'll do. Because at the time, we're like, he got the money. So that's what we'll do. Because that 80-20 thing, not doing
crazy.
it. Think about it. A 12-year contract where they get 80% of everything. No.
You would make less than you were making right then.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I would have had to pay for all the studio, whatever the studio time costs, all of those features whenever I go to perform.
How much did you have to come up with?
So I really don't know the exact number of what we had to come up with. I just knew the only thing I knew, because the owner he made for me, it was you the label owner, I'm the artist, handle that, I trust you. So I didn't get into full details of what every single thing cost, what he had going on. I just knew that he was supposed to have it handled. So it got to the point where Dr. Dre's son even called me and was like, "Yo, where's your man at?" I'm like, well, the last time I checked, I know he had to go to Canada for this and that, because he would tell me certain things he's doing. He was like, "Man, the man didn't pay for nothing. We're getting ready to just throw away, delete the files of the master." I'm like, no. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm pretty sure there's a reasonable explanation. I got a hold of him. He let me know that he didn't have the money, that he's trying. And I'm like, oh my God. So one of the things that he decided to attempt to do to get the money was sell off the other artists. So I'm just going to make a scenario. Universal Records call. All right, so he's like, yeah, so I have this artist right here. They're extremely good. Check out the music. So when they go to our website, as soon as the website opens, we have this amazing intro. Then there's a big old picture of me on it, and my song plays immediately. So they're like, all right, this artist is cool, but what about this guy? So instead of just saying, oh, Blaze is already in pending deals, he's not available, his way of getting them off of me was, oh, this dude is just a waste of time. He's this and that, bad artist. He doesn't listen. He just wastes money. What? So he was just bashing my name down. So after like the 7th label, now remember, mind you, I have a whole career now. I have a good 10 years of connections. So a couple people started hitting me up. Yo, you sure about the dude that you're working with? And then they'll send me like emails and screenshots of stuff that he's saying to me. So saying about me. Wow. Long story short, that turned into a 3-year battle trying to get me out of the contracts. All of that music that was used, couldn't use any of that music because he technically owned it because it was done during my time under the contract. It was just a big mess. So that was 3 years of not being there, from 2012 to 2015. No releasing of music, no doing anything music-wise, because it was just, there was no way, because I was stuck in that contract. So it was, luckily, I have an amazing entertainment lawyer who, found all the whatever type of loopholes that was needed to get me out of it. But, hot mess. Great songs. So
damn, bro.
So yeah. It's crazy.
Okay, so you got that worked out, and then
yeah, so 2015. So a lot of the other artists that that came along for the ride, they obviously are now super discouraged. 90% of them, either moved on, quit music, whatever. Just nobody were willing to go along for the ride, because now they're just feeling like art is a waste of time. So now I'm trying to figure out, okay, what in the world could I do now to get something going? So I was like, in the meantime, I'll utilize my engineering skills. So I teamed up with this guy who does cheer music. They work for this company, New Level Music. Like right now, today, biggest cheer company in the world. But at the time, they were, just amongst some of a lot of them. So when I got involved, at first I was only involved as a rapper. So they would come in, because what the dude would do is they would take like a couple of popular songs, make mixes. So you've seen the like dance mixes for like You Got It, like Bring It On and stuff like that, like not pong cheerleading, like school cheerleading competitions. So what they would do to make things original, they would have certain rappers rap on some of the things or whatever. So as the years gone by, so 2016, 2017, the industry is starting to get more popular. I got a bigger role in the company, rapping more songs, writing some of the mixes, and also, doing some engineering work on them, like manipulating the songs. It got to a point to where record labels were starting to feel like, you know what, we don't want you guys using our music because we're not getting paid for them. We manipulate them so much to where they're not getting royalties. So I was one of the people that came up, and the idea was like, we produce and we make our own, like we know how to make our own stuff. Let's create our own mixes. And at first they didn't really want to do that, because during this time I got to work with a bunch of different artists. Through this company, like there have been cheer mixes with Akon, Trina, freaking the Yin Yang Twins, and T-Pain. Pretty much what we would do is we would take their songs and like make them for a team. So there's a team called the Cincinnati Tigers. They'd be like, all we do is win, 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 no matter what. The Cincinnati Tigers never giving up, like that. T-Pain would actually sing it.
That's cool.
So we were doing things like that. So it was so crazy to figure out, like, if you would have told me that I worked with this collection of people, I would have thought it was on other circumstances. It's freaking cheer music. But whatever.
It's a flex that you got them to do that, though.
Well, clearly the company, paid them for it, but it was still cool that they, So the trick was, now doing our own original music kind of eliminates being able to. The risk was, now we're not going to be able to have these celebrities do these mixes because we're doing our own thing. So it was scary, but we went all in and bet on ourselves. And now the company is the biggest company in the world, because eventually every label started suing and people couldn't use music. We were the only company ahead of the game. Our own music, our own vocalists, our own beats. It was a wrap. So we ended up. So I was a part of the South Florida division. We called it Cheer Freaks, like Cheer Frequencies, but it was like Cheer Freaks. Kill the mixes, killing them. So now the mojo of something in the music industry is back. But obviously, I'm like, there got to be other ways to do certain things. I'm getting older. That window is closing. I see what the music industry is turned into. So just trying to figure things out. Long story short, I end up becoming, through a few connections, I end up becoming the director of music for Universal Music. So how they sold me to get the position was, dudes like, yeah, we want to make room for all the independent talent, and this and that. So I'm like, bro, this is freaking perfect.
You're the director of Universal?
The director of music, not now. But at the time, I was brought on as director of music for Universal Music. So the one thing that I skipped is, during that time, through the cheer and leading up to this music, all the effects of the lupus and what I had, I didn't know what it was at the time. So I went through a stretch where, like, my bones were completely bad, my health was bad, and we just couldn't figure out what it was. I'm talking about, I got super skinny, skinnier than Snoop Dogg skinny. I couldn't barely walk and move. It took literally 2 minutes to put on a pair of socks. It was like insane types of pain or whatever. So when it started to ease up a little bit, like, I was medicating myself with like BC Powell blood thinners and things and whatever. But so as it was starting to, I thought I was getting better. It opened up that window for the Universal Music. So went on there. And that ended up being it was a blessing and a curse. The blessing was, I learned and made so many connections. I found out, like, the people who make things viral, I found out, like, a lot of the things that we think go viral naturally don't. Like the Catch Me Outside, how about that girl? Didn't go that way. When she had her thing on Dr. Phil, these people went to her and her mom. All right, look, we feel like this can catch. You keep being ratchet. You keep having issues with it. You go live. We're going to pay some people to be in your chats. Da, 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 do it. And long story short, she is what she is. You know, so these people did that type of stuff. So I got to meet them. I got to meet people from Rolling Stone magazine. I met a lot of people. I learned how to run a radio station, which now I have a radio station because I learned all the in and outs from here. So I was just picking. Now my issue with the people who owned Universal Music at the time, this dude, he sold me on, or we're going to make room for the independent talent, was a lie. He just wanted people's money. So everybody that I brought in, it always turned into him dangling something in front of them to where they had to spend money, screwing people. So it became a mess. So right before I was looking for my way to get out of it clean without burning bridges, the lupus got extremely bad. Because see, I have a combination of lupus and myositis. So myositis is a muscle degeneration disease. So with having lupus, the lupus stops me from my immune system from being able to fight anything. So if I didn't have lupus, my body naturally would have fought off the myositis, but because I had lupus, I couldn't fight it off. So it got to the point to where within a week span, I lost 20 pounds. It was crazy sick. So
in a week.
In a week.
Wow.
My aunt noticed it in my face and noticed that I was just extremely skinny and was like, please go to the emergency room. Went. They were like, if you didn't come in at the time you came in, this would have killed you. So they put me on this prednisone, these steroids, and they were like, we think you have lupus, and like you need to either go to Chicago, Atlanta, or this other place who has this facility. Fortunately, like I told you, this house that we're in, it was here, so it was like Atlanta. So moved here, went through, and that was the excuse to be able to give the, Universal the letter, like, obviously, health, I can't work, sorry.
Yeah, can't argue, can't be mad at you.
Yeah, no bridges burnt. So got, and I'm freely talking about it because the guy who was the owner of it is fired and gone, so, there's no backlash coming at me. So, but yeah. What it did was it gave me time, so that 2020 and that whole the end of the middle of 2019 leading into 2020 right before the pandemic, it gave me time to focus on myself. Before that, I was pulled in every direction. I couldn't get any idea down. I couldn't, I was just pulled all over the place. So it forced me to take care of myself. All the things I learned, I built my own website, started the radio station. I was like, all right, I'm going to get things together to just rebuild, rebrand, and get right. So my business partner now, Mr. Cooper, he was like, look, I really feel like a shift is coming. You need to double down on doing these live streams and your review shows, because I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but a shift is coming. Keep doing it, I promise you. So I'm doing these things, getting maybe 20 people on a good day, 50 in the live stream. Then the pandemic happens. Now, at the time, DJs weren't hipped on going live and doing things. All the clubs are closed. The only person playing music is me. Overnight, 1,100 people in the chats, 2,000 people. My live stream became stupid. The radio station, super listeners. So I was like, okay, now the industry is at this level to where it's all on the same playing field. Eventually, we knew, all right, the glass ceiling is going to close and they're going to figure it out. So our goal was, let's get over the glass ceiling and plant our flag. So when it closed, we're here. Yeah. And obviously it's closed, but now we're in a different stratosphere now. The radio station's up, the TV network's up. Now it put me in position just to do a lot of different things. The higher ups of the industry, if you will, don't see me as just some up and coming thing. Like we did the Tap 21 Music Festival. They brought us on the label. I'm on the committee for South by Southwest. Yeah, I'm on 4 years in a row. We've been on the committee for South by Southwest. They're like, I'm going to be in September. I'm going to be modeling my own shoe. I have a shoe line now that I'm doing for New York Fashion Week in September. Last year,
I'm gonna be there.
Last year, oh yeah, damn right. Last year was the first time I got brought on as a social media influencer and company for Miss Bikini, the Miss Bikini models for Miami Fashion Week. They're bringing me back next month for this year.
It's not a bad job to have.
Not at all. So yeah, just so now I'm in this crazy position now to where I was like, all right, I still love doing music or whatnot, but like I was like, all right, needed to figure out, like, in that year, in that little stretch from 2019 to 2020, I'm like, all right, I need to figure out a few things. One, how I'm going to become relevant in this industry, because all this music is mumble rapping now, and I don't feel like I'm going to conform to that. That's one. Number two, I was like, I noticed that social media is starting to take over. I just need to figure out what I'm going to do. And three, I'm like, as a musician, I need to figure out, because I know that music isn't going to be my main focus, I need to figure out how to go from the dating your crowd to being married to your crowd. Like, I always say the dating your crowd phase is, if, like, say if you go to an open mic performance, people don't know you, so it's that beginning stages, they have to feel you out. If Usher came to to any just random place and he was like, all right, I got a new song I'm going to do, they would give him the benefit of the doubt because they're married to him already. Yeah. I'm like, I need to get that benefit of the doubt when I put music out now. That's what made me start doing the review shows and things of that nature. I'm like, so now people are like, they're obligated to listen to me. I'm the guy that's playing their music, so whatever you do, we don't care. So if I put something out that normally, if they didn't know me, they're like, oh, that's kind of dated, it ain't the now they don't even do that immediately. Oh, that's Blaze, it's fire. So now when I drop stuff, streams crazy,
everybody likes it. Yep. They want to like it. They want to like it.
Exactly. They take away the stereotype of who is this guy. They know me already, so they already know I'm a lyricist. They know that I can rap. So now I hear things like, oh, what's up, legend? What's up, OG? What's up, this? And it's weird, that I'm acknowledged in that way. But it's like, it is what it is. It's like it's a homage to all that freaking work that's been put in leading up to this point. And yeah, so it was able to grow. I was able to just grow a community of different independent artists, and then it grew from just the radio to me and Mr. Cooper starting our TV network, Signature Series Network, and we wanted to aim at all content creators, so podcasts, movie directors, short films, all of that. So we started out on Roku TV, and then it built. As finances got up a little bit, we went from Roku, Roku Fire, and Apple TV. So we're on all platforms, and the platform we were on only had enough bandwidth for us to handle, 40,000 viewers. So they didn't expect us to get to 40,000 viewers. We got to like 50. So they're like, all right, so you're gonna have to buy more bandwidth, and it's gonna be like $2,000 extra a month. We were like, nah, not doing that. Fortunately, we already found another platform, which was no longer Roku, Fire, and Apple. But what's cool about it is it's compatible with our platform is compatible with YouTube, Vimeo, and Dailymotion. So now, before, if someone was played on our TV network, yes, you were getting good exposure, but there was no way to monetize it. So now, for example, you put this interview goes on YouTube. All I need is the link to air it on my station. Anytime it airs on my station, now your channel is going to get the stream. It is if they're watching it on your channel. So now the people who submit their music to us can get paid. They get their monetization for it. So the amount of people who watched them before now has wind of them, even if they don't go to their channel.
That's amazing.
So yeah, so we have 370,000 viewers per month on the TV network. So yeah, so I'm getting a lot of good traffic. So
I feel like YouTube, Vimeo, and Dailymotion are better platforms than Apple TV and all that for your content.
Yeah, it is, and because what's crazy is that you would think that these other because obviously everyone watches those platforms for like their movies and things like that, but I'm like, if you're going to go watch Netflix or like if you're on Roku or Fire TV, normally you're on those things to be able to stream, Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus and the things that you normally would watch. Normally you're not going on to find independent talent or whatever. So one thing we learned from those 50,000 people who were, when we were on those platforms, 90% of them were, looking from their phones to watch the content anyways, not on an actual TV device. So for us, it was a brainless. It was like, oh yeah,
that makes easily. So much more sense.
Yeah. So now it's cool because now not only our audience, now the content creators who are working with us, they now can benefit and make money off of it, because now they have the option to if someone's not just going to go to this guy's channel to watch him, they could, these audience could be on for my show. And the way that our thing is set up is like a TV channel. So like if my show is on and then their show is advertised or comes on, they're already on the channel. So now it's an opportunity for them to see. And I do a good job at promoting, like during my live streams and stuff, I'll promote the other stuff that's on. So it also is an opportunity for people to know. Yeah, it's crazy. It's so love the business, love the platform that's built. The next phase is figuring out ways to and it sounds crazy, but it's the truth, to get the content creators to take themselves serious. Because I've learned over these last 3 years that, like, I always thought when building this, we always just assumed that, yeah, once we get this stuff up and it's going and running, these artists are going to love it. They're going to take advantage. And they don't. They'll pay me to promote. I do radio promotion. And so I have a lot of deals, like 3 months radio play, 6 plays a day. People can request from the station. We do promo flyers, we do all of this stuff. So I'll play the songs on the radio, but the artists themselves don't promote that they're on the radio. They don't get nobody. I would say 95% of them don't get people to request them. Don't use the promo flyers that we make for them to let people know that they're on the station. Like if it was BET, MTV, they easily be, yo, my song is on BET, come check it out. They don't do that.
Right.
And so I'm starting to realize that I'll do live streams that may be dedicated to them. They're not in the feed. So it's crazy. It's like when this interview drops, my whole catalog of everybody's going to know that the interview dropped. I feel like that's the natural thing to do, is not only showcasing, of course, you in the platform, but it's also showcasing me. And it's like win-win. But
no,
people don't see it that way.
I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. And you're right. It's like the whole you can lead a horse to water kind of thing.
My God, and they don't want to drink. They just want to take a selfie that they're by the water. That's what they want to do. It's like, oh my God.
Facts.
It kills me. And now with freaking the scammers are getting better by the second. Now with AI taking over, I almost got scammed by these people pretending to be what's this freaking magazine? Source magazine. So the guy was like, oh, let's do a video chat. So I'm like, definitely. So I'm on the chat. So I didn't pick up on it at first. The whole time he's just in this one spot and he's just talking. So we're talking, having a discussion or whatever, but his thing starts glitching or whatever, and then he hangs up and he was like, oh man, it's storming out here, whatever, let's try to call again. I'm like, oh, most definitely. So he calls back and now we're on again, and I realized in his background it's sunny outside, but he just told me it was storming. So I'm like, so I'm still talking to him and I'm just looking for imperfections. So I see every time he moves his face a certain way, the glitch. And I'm like, I'm talking to an AI right now.
Oh my fucking God.
He's using a freaking filter right now. I'm like, oh my God. So I can't remember what I said or how I end up getting out of it, but I got out of it, blocked him and whatever. And so I just went and researching different things, and I found the program that he's using. And like, it's so crazy that with this software, if you buy it, it'll scan your face and you can take any picture, any person, and emulate. I'm like, if I didn't know no better, if he would have never said it was storming, I probably wouldn't have caught it. And who knows what he would have got out of it.
Well, especially, so I've been told video calls is how real people are going to communicate with you.
Exactly. So it's like they're getting clever, more
That's
clever
scary.
and more clever.
That's fucking scary.
It is. So what that does is for people I'm trying to promote things to, now I have to always go the extra mile to convince them that I'm freaking real. So that's why I love going live a lot. I love going out doing events. And when I talk to people, I'll normally voice call or video call them or leave a video message so they can see that I'm not freaking fake. Yep. Because it's like, these are the steps you got to take. And that's why the blue check, like, it's so aggravating I know. It's so aggravating because this is a real life. I finally get the thing to get the blue check. I'm like, about time. I get it. I'm excited.
How did that happen?
I have no idea. When somebody was telling me like I always research different ways. They always say if you're gonna buy it, like celebrities, they pay like the freaking a whole 50,000 some change to get theirs. Like, but like regular people, like you just can't get it unless you have a lot of press and things of that nature. So, so I was just like, obviously I realized, and I didn't put two and two together, that I own a magazine. I have different blogs where I'm considered the press. I just put out a bunch of different stuff on me, the TV network, things I'm doing. And of course, finally they were like, oh, that's what we need. Get the check. 2 weeks later, they announced that they're going to start doing and also they took away Reels. I was making $500 a month on Reels, on IG, posting Reels. Like, I was making some sexy money every month on Reels from IG. I was making money on Snapchat. I was making money on like all these different social media platforms. And that was one of the things that I was teaching people, like, this is, and so what happened was with Facebook, Meta, whatever, they lost a lot of money on the metaverse. The metaverse is supposed to do what they thought it was going to do. It didn't. That's why they did the blue check thing, because, they made like freaking $600 million in like a day. Is everybody paying that $15? But they took away getting the real bonuses and stuff because they lost out on so much money. So that took money out of the pocket. Then they took away, like, even though I got the check in those 2 weeks, now it's like the check means nothing because everyone is like, oh, well, if you got it at this time, we know it's fake, and now no one values the check. So I was like, oh my God. It's like, it freaking sucks. So I was like, I had to figure out a way to find value in it. And the one thing I can value in it is, now, before the check, every week I had to block at least and report 3 or 4 copycat accounts of me.
Oh, wow.
Because people would make accounts of me and get people's money for radio play. So people hitting me up, why didn't you put me on the radio? I'm like, I don't know you. They'll send me screenshots. I'm like, bro, that's not me. So now I'm giving away free stuff and free services because people doing it. So now I'm public service announcement. If you don't see the check, it's not me. And since I haven't had to do it since. Oh, and also, they took my thing away. So now I have to pay, like, after the first month of it being up, my check is gone now. And then I had to apply like everybody else. So now I'm paying the $14.99 a month for the damn check. It's worth it though, because it's, for me, I need to prove that I'm me. And also, it is what it is.
I pay the $14.99 too, because since I got the check, people respond to me differently when I message them. It's stupid.
Yeah,
it's dumb. All it means is I have $14.99. But you do have to prove it's you, and that does show I'm not a bot. I think it's basically I'm not a bot. That's
true. Exactly. So so there's no way like a scammer could, unless they just miraculously have your same exact name. There's really, unfortunately for me, my name is Blaze Hunter, so I didn't have to do nothing different. That's my birth name, so it's like I'm good.
That's your birth name?
Yes. So from kindergarten all the way to my senior year, every single day of attendance, Brad Hodges Blaze Hunter? That's a really cool name.
As fuck, bro.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
So yeah, so it's just been figuring out just different things. So not only stressing myself with trying to figure out how to make artists take themselves serious, but utilizing the different talents that I have to do other things outside of just the music industry. Like the shirt that I'm wearing, Book Jams. Me and my mother, we started a children's ebook company. So we have 20 books now, I believe. And the business has been going on for a year. And what we do is we'll make, like, my mom will write the book. My sister will illustrate. She'll send it to me. I'll animate it, put it in book form, bring them in the studio, and we'll bring either her, me, maybe we'll get different vocalists to record in the studio to, like, do the reading portion of it, and then I create music. So each book has a song dedicated to it at the end.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What does success in life look like to you?
So to me, like, people, like, somebody just said this to me the other day. I was like, yeah, one day, man, I feel you're gonna finally get that success. I'm like, who said I'm not? I'm already not living the success already. I'm like if you would have told me back before even getting signed to you, that kid that before went on the Beyonce tour, if you would have showed me a preview of and read off the accolades of all the things that I've done, I would have assumed that I'm this billionaire. But, going through it, I realized things don't work that way. No. It's just, real life things don't work that way. But it's like the half of my catalog is more than 90% of what up and coming independent, artists or someone could even say that they have done. I mean, I've toured in Europe, did the Asia tour. We did, we just toured in so many different places and worked with some of the biggest names and performed in some of the biggest crowds. And I know that I've done so many meaningful things. Like even with the books, one of the best things to me is I'm talking to a friend of mine, that's somebody who ended up purchasing the books or whatever. So, because we have we have a YouTube channel that has like free educational videos to so if kids have problems with like digraphs, like their combination words and stuff like that, like we have all those things free on the channel. So I'm talking to a friend of mine and she's just venting about whatever. Her kids are noisy in the background. She's like, yeah. Yo, turn that stuff off and go watch Book Jams. Okay, yeah. So she's back up. So it's like, just see that in their household, it's not because Blaze is doing Book Jam. She makes them watch it because it's educational for them, So, stuff like that, I know that's an impact on these kids' life. My TV channel, we have a kids channel on the thing. There's a preschool who all day plays our channel on at their schools. So when I remember one time I got hacked on my credit card, so I switched the card, but I forgot to switch it on the thing, so the bill didn't get paid. They put a pause on the network. So the school called me and said, I don't know what's going on. The channel's down.
You pay your bill.
I was like, oh crap! But then that made me so excited to know that they're freaking
noticed, yeah.
The school is looking at the channel.
That's so cool. So, bro. This is success, bro. You are successful. You're the first person I've interviewed that you've succeeded in everything you want to do, bro, and you're still doing more. I'm man.
Yes,
live in that. Be proud of yourself, bro. That's amazing.
Yes, yeah. The goal is for people to understand that, like even these artists and anybody that's in this field right now. Like, understand that, like, you don't see yourself as like I'm this up and comer who's trying to make it. You're doing it right. You have freaking how many interviews under your belt?
So many.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you have all of these videos under your belt already. So it's like you're already in that success. The same way you're doing these interviews, any big name person that's out considered mainstream and successful, they want to do their virtual interviews. They look just like this.
I appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? Just like this. And one thing that I wanted to save to the very ending of the interview, but I just want to get it out. now because I can't hold my excitement in. When you first reached out to me about the interview, in the form of the way you did it, I told myself, and I was going to save it for the video. What I'm going to do is I want to grant you some real estate on our TV network, on our platform, Signature Series Network, for your TV show. So we pick out whatever day that you want where new episodes come out, and it'll be the day on our TV network. So let's say if you choose, 4 p.m. for interviews. So every day on our primetime TV channel, or not every day, but that whatever day we choose. So if it's Thursday at 4 p.m. Well, you have so many shows. We can do it.
Well, I mean, yeah,
we can do every day, honestly.
Probably. I gotta get the
regardless.
Yeah,
I want to put,
bro.
I want to put your show.
That means so much to me, bro. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. It's just watching it and seeing the reaction that you get from the people that you do, and then you do all the intangibles. You do all the dirty work that I always tell people that they need to do. When people look at great basketball teams, like one of my favorite teams, I'm a Miami Heat fan, so it was when LeBron was there, and we had the big three. Everybody gave LeBron James the credit, Wade the credit, Bosh the credit. But the one guy who wasn't getting all the credit was the dude doing all the dirty work. He was the one jumping into the crowd, diving after loose balls, getting ran over by people taking the charges. He ain't getting that credit. But without that dirty work, the team don't win. So what I love about you is obviously you're doing the star work, which being in front of the camera, doing the interviews, but you reach out to people. You post every single day. You make the clips that can be used for social media. That kills me that people don't take advantage of using, but neither here nor there. It's you know what I'm saying? It's like all of those things. So I was like, oh yeah, this is the perfect give back. And so normally it's a service that we charge for people or whatever, but I know that this will catapult and do you and hopefully the artists that take advantage of it some good. So our gift on behalf of the Signature Series Network to you. Welcome to the family, bro.
I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I'm so grateful for that. Man, thank you so much.
Definitely, man. More than welcome.
That's pretty much all the questions I had for you, unless there's anything else you want to talk about. And now I'm all thrown off and distracted, and I want to run and tell my girl real quick.
Yeah, so I will. Well, let's go toward the ending and shift it here. We're gonna do the switch. Yeah. So what got you started in wanting to interview people?
Okay. Honestly, I went to film school. I graduated in 2009, and I shot a documentary in film school, and I fell in love with the interviewing part. I love documentaries. There's 2 passion projects of mine that I call them bucket list projects because I got to do them before I'm dead. It's not about money. It's what I got to leave. But one of them is a collection of interviews. I thought about this in film school in 2009. And it would be literally what I'm doing, just talking to people about their lives, the lessons they've learned, the things they've gone through. And I'm not sure what the direction would be, but I think the direction is going to, reveal itself in the interviews and over time. But about 2 months ago, I got hit up by this guy, and he did interviews kind of, they're really bad. And then he also did these little dance videos, and he was a producer and this and that. And I was like, yo, and at the time I was trying to do music videos, offering to just free work pretty much. I mean, I got paid for a little bit, but artists are broke. There's no money in music videos, and no one cares about a whole music video. That's another step. And anyway,
exactly. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
But he hit me up. I offered to do some work for him for free. Long story short, I did 4 videos in a day for him. Told him I needed $10 to get CapCut Pro because I was dead broke and I was using some effects on his video. And he was like, yeah, and don't worry, I have 10K in the bank, so it's not a problem for me. And I'm like, well, why the fuck am I doing these videos for free? And the next day he asked me to cover an interview for him. And I did the interview, and it reignited the fire. I was like, I got chills in the end. I was like, I'm running. And I told him that. I was like, bro, I really didn't mean to do this, but I'm running with this interview thing. I'm sorry. And he was like, oh, that's fine. And then he hit me back with this like just remember who the guy was that sent you $10 when you needed CapCut Pro that day. I was. Yeah. So, I don't talk to him anymore, but that was like 2 months ago, and I think I've done like 80 interviews, bro. I pretty much do 2 interviews a day, and that's why I'm behind on my full form edits.
Yeah.
But like this is I don't know. I fucking love doing this. I do.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Having that many is perfect. So yeah, I think what I'll do is I'm gonna put it on the channel, and they're just gonna air it Monday through Friday. It's just gonna be
hell yeah.
Because there's so many of them, and this will be good for the artists.
I'll spend the weekend getting them edited. You know, the full like if I take just a few hours, I can get a bunch of full interviews, ready to upload and all that. So, bro, thank you so much. Like, do I upload them to my channel and then you put them on yours, or?
Yeah, you upload them to your channel. All I need is the YouTube link.
Bro,
that's it.
Man, thank you so much. I don't know what else to say, but thank you.
Definitely, man.
This has been Karikter Asked It with Blaze Hunter, who just welcomed me to his family. I'm like, I don't even know what to say. Thank you, bro. I appreciate your time. Appreciate everything. We'll talk soon. Sir. I'll see y'all next time. I'll see more of y'all next time.